Candace Owens is smart, actually.
Charlie Kirk thought that he was a time traveler. He told me he was a time traveler, and instead they decided that they could send him to this X-Men school. That's the best way I can describe it. A lot of weird things used to happen to Charlie. He would go on runs. I think I told you guys this, after sundown, and when he was running, street lights would go out. It was like he was a burst of energy, like he was a lightning bolt or something.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Julius, you're and no, this actually is not a video about retard Maxine. Actually, today I'm going to tell you about something that's going to allow you to make a lot of money and gain a lot of power in the modern world. First, take a look at the average IQ spectrum. After hearing such a comment like this,
I was having incredibly vivid dreams. I began dreaming like I hadn't dreamed since I was a child because it was every night. It stressed me out. I expressed that to my husband through many tears. He told me that I should consult a priest, which I did. And we spoke about souls in purgatory. Anyway, today I feel that it is time to tell you the entirety of the repeat dream that I was having in those early weeks. Charlie said to me, I don't have much time. He followed that up explaining to me that I needed to see what happened on his left. And he told me explicitly, they betrayed me, multiple people. And I said, I know, but who? It wasn't until the third week after his death that finally one face came through in this dream. It came through as clear as day from around the corner of the restaurant. And
you might be surprised to see that I'd estimate Candace Owens to lie somewhere in the above average to high intelligence range. On the other hand, looking at somebody like Joe Rogan,
like a monetary value on actual life itself. Wow, it's just such a strange concept.
Yeah.
Did you see that guy accidentally hit that moose with his car?
I'd estimate his IQ range to be just slightly above average. Now, what do these two people have in common? Both of these two people are very, very successful on social media and consequently make a lot of money off their career. Candace Owens regularly gets millions of views on YouTube, especially with the recent bizarre Charlie Kirk topics, and Rogan is one of the biggest podcasters in the whole world. Before I tell you about the clever scheme Candace Owens is running and how wildly effective it is and how nobody seems to have caught on by now, let's first break down why Joe Rogan is so successful. Is it because he has an MMA background, he has cool tattoos, or maybe because he got lucky? Well, I'd say it's a combination of multiple variables like that, especially luck. But the most important variable is that he is quite literally the perfect, relatable midwit. He is smart enough to comprehend a very complex conspiracy theory while simultaneously being dumb enough to actually believe it.
I have people coming here all the time that I know are bullshitting me. I know they are. Like, I feel it, you know, and sometimes it's just like, all right, what are you going to do? I think some of the information that gets shared on this podcast is probably bullshit.
To kind of muddy the waters. Yeah.
All right, so it looks like Joe Rogan is starting to act like he's realizing that his podcast is being used by grifters and politicians to make money and promote propaganda, specifically alien propaganda. Apparently, Joe thinks some of the information on his podcast regarding aliens is probably bullshit that's pushed by the government. I mean, it's hilarious that this is what's finally getting Joe to admit that the government's using his podcast.
This is where the overwhelming majority of people in the whole world fall into. You see, middle intelligence people are smart enough to identify and recognize patterns, but rarely smart enough to actually question the validity of those patterns. This not only makes Joe Rogan a very relatable person in general, which is very important for social media, but it also allows him to genuinely believe a lot of these conspiracy theories that so many other people also believe, making him that much more relatable. Joe Rogan is quite literally just being himself, and he quite literally has the luckiest IQ in order to capture the broadest market while at the same time being competent enough to actually build a business. Because a slightly above average IQ is still needed in order to foster relationships and actually build up a business and strategically create content. Okay, so now you know the cheat code for achieving massive success and in general just gaining lots of influence is not to appeal to the very high IQ like my dumbass is trying to do, and it's not also like trying to appeal to retards like myself, but rather to appeal to the broader masses, midwits. So now with this knowledge, you must be thinking like, damn, I really wish I was a midwit so I could appeal to all, the masses, right? Oh wait, that's right. We have free will to completely fabricate our true intelligence. We can choose to conceal our high intelligence and make people believe we're a lot dumber than we are, which is something I highly recommend in general. Even if you're not using this for business purposes, this is something you want to do for relationships as well. But okay, so that's right. We can deliberately choose to do things like believe in conspiracies that we know not to be true.
I had to text him and tell him what I saw. And this is the text, just sharing with you so you guys know if this all really happened. I said I rarely have vivid dreams, but I had one clear as day this weekend. Charlie came to me and he sat down and he told me that he did not have much time, that I needed to know that he was in fact betrayed and that they are hiding what happened to my left. I believe his soul is in purgatory, and I believe that you know much more than you've said publicly or privately. And Andrew Colbert never answered. Last time Andrew Colbert and I spoke.
So very suspicious stuff going on there. I wonder why he wouldn't respond to such a normal message. You'd think he'd want to know what Charlie's doing in purgatory, but I guess not. He's not a true friend and doesn't really care about him. I think they're just using him for his supernatural abilities, which Candace is starting to figure out. That's why Charlie went to an X-Men type of school and thought he was a time traveler and could turn off lights with his mind. She also started getting a bunch of messages after this from her fans about how they also have supernatural abilities. So investigating Charlie Kirk's death led to Candace discovering that her audience has superpowers, and the feds must be losing it over this.
And consequently, we're going to then make a lot more money and garner a lot more influence. But the caveat with this is then you're also going to be competing with a lot of the actual organic midwits. Like Joe Rogan had luck on his side because he was competing with lots of other people just like him. You see, in business, it's not only market size that matters, but it's market size to competition ratio which really matters. You want to make sure, yeah, okay, if the market's good, you might consider entering into it, but if it's oversaturated competition, it might not be the best thing to go into. You want to find an area where the market's good, but there's also low competition, or there's hardly any competition, and even then a small market will suffice. Therefore, I say it's the competition to market size ratio which really matters. And do you know what has a really incredible market size to competition ratio? The entire left end of the IQ spectrum. Not only is this half of the people in the world, but the organic competition is often incompetent. So why not pretend you're 80 IQ and relate to everyone in that range? You will be competing with other 80 IQ people who struggle to even upload a video onto YouTube, let alone create an engaging video and build a business. My friends, this is what Candace is doing. She is not an actual authentic retard. She is just pretending to be a retard. Really, she's a midwit who is competing in an area with very, very low inept competition. And she has certainly seen significant momentum with this strategy. The people in her comments who say she's on to something with the Charlie Kirk stuff are very unlikely to be competent enough to create a YouTube channel on their own. You can think of it like LeBron playing basketball with a bunch of high school players. Or, hold on, I don't know if we'll give her LeBron status because she's still probably in the midwit range. I'd say more like D Rose.
All the other lies she was telling. And I was like, oh my God. I asked friends and family. I actually prayed about it. I said, should I disengage? And most people were like, yeah, just the people will figure it out. So I'm like, and then today I'm like, he's like, yeah, the time traveling and the looking glass. And I'm like, you're joking, right? And then I go look it up. It's all true. I'm just like, well. So after today, unless there's just something I've got to do, because Nietzsche said, don't look at the abyss too long, you turn into the abyss, or don't fight monsters too long, you turn into them. I'm swearing her off because it's like watching a satanic soap opera. And so after today, you notice last few weeks I barely mentioned her. I'm done.
So maybe she's just trying to drive everyone insane. That's what it seems like, because you look at her show and you hear what she's saying and the amount of people that believe everything she says, and it's like, holy shit, she's definitely onto the truth. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, I think she's a total nut job, but I do want to see how far she's willing to go.
Candace is not stupid. She knows how to pander to an audience. In fact, this is how she made her entire career. She started off literally pandering to white people. A black woman pandering to white people, and people just ate it up, and that's what led to her rise to fame. Now she's doing the same thing with retards. For the record, by the way, I don't care about politics. I don't do any politics. I saw this video on Too Lazy to Try, and it just blew my mind how nobody was noticing that she was doing this intentionally. So I felt I needed to make a video, but shout out to his videos. He's a funny guy. Join the Discord, by the way, if you haven't already. We talk about some funny stuff in there. And everyone calling Candace retarded is just a midwit just like her. That's why I'm glad I'm actually retarded.